What's good, everybody? Chris here again. Chris Goes Outdoors. Today in this video, we're going to check out this tent right here. This is the REI Flash Air 1 tent, a new ultralight shelter offering from REI. Claims to weigh in for everything you see here at 1 pound 6 ounces, and also has a minimum trail weight of 1 pound 4 ounces, assuming you don't take the included pole to set the shelter up and use your trekking pole. I'll list the actual weights of every piece of gear right here, so you can see there. Maybe they're on, maybe they're not. We'll check that out for sure. But I'm excited to set this shelter up. If you've watched the channel before, you will know, or I hope you will know, that I have extensively been using the Z-Pack Solplex one-person shelter for the last 3-4 years, something along those lines, and I love it. So I'm excited to see what REI has to offer as far as ultralight tents go. So you can see right here, tent comes in this stuff sack just like this. It says that this is 16 inches, and I believe that's because the internal pole folds down to 16 inches. So stuff sack is empty, with the exception of instructions on how to set the actual tent up. So it says it includes the tent body, guy lines, stakes, 1 long pole, 1 hub pole, 1 foot pole, and then it gives instructions to set the actual tent up. Then you have the tent stakes and 10 poles and the actual tent itself. And it appears the lighter color brown right there is the actual tent fly, and then the bottom is a darker kind of actual green. All right, so we got the tent laid out just how we want it, and I'm going to follow the actual instructions for this first setup. So it says lay the tent out on a flat surface, rain fly side up, stake out the gray cords connected to the 4 corners of the floor evenly and tightly. The tent comes with 5 stakes, so 4 for the corners and I assume 1 for the front door. With that said, they do give you additional guy lines in the stake bag, but if you intend on using them, it seems that you're going to need to pick up a couple extra stakes, which not the end of the world, but would have been nice if they included a couple more. They are DAC aluminum stakes, so I believe they're similar, if not the same, as the ones that Big Agnes uses. All right, so we got the floor pretty tight. And the tent also comes with this pole that you stick into the foot end from the outside. We'll show you that in a close-up. All right, pretty easy to get in. Unzip the rainfly door, insert the hub pole into the fabric sleeve under the rainfly just above the mesh door. Secure the pole clip to the bar of the plastic hub. The tent pole that is included snaps into those 3 pieces here, and then we have this piece right here, which is the hub for the actual door. There's this little piece of fabric right here that is connected to the top of the bug netting, and that is where you run this little pole through. So you can stick it in like this and then insert it into the grommet down here. Just zip that back up a little bit. All right, next step is to stake out the door guy line. And then the next steps are to hook the rainfly guy lines onto the stakes and tighten those down. That was pretty easy overall. It's a little toggle and loop so that you can roll up the door. And there you go, tent's all set up. And we'll give you a look around just so you can see it all set up. So right here underneath, this is the hub pole right here, and it slides into this little fabric section that's connected to the mesh of the tent as well, and runs all the way through the top of the rainfly to the reinforced portion of the backside there. So it's pretty cool. And then the pole itself goes into a grommet down below, and into a smaller hole in the actual hub. And then this part right here clips to the actual pole. If you're using a trekking pole, this can clip to this portion up here. Then just pull that over. It sits right in the secure reinforcement area right here. You'll see the zipper goes up really, really far to the other side here, which on a good night, you could roll the entire door back almost entirely, and you can get yourself some nice sky views, or just ventilate out, especially if it's like a super hot night or something. So here, hopefully you can see how the guy lines work. Unfortunately, there's no line lock on the bottom one. Not a huge deal, but you stretch that out super tight, connect that to the stake, and then you can use the line lock on top right there to loosen or easily tighten. And then down here you can see the pole system for the foot side of things. It goes into just a little pocket right there, slides in really easy, and then you can prop it right into the grommet here. I'll show you taking it out actually. So it comes out nice and easy. And then to get it back in, we slide it into the pocket and then pull the little grommet. And there you go. On the back side of the tent now, you can see over here that there is one little loop here, so you could connect a guy line to the back side here for added wind protection. There's also a loop up here, one up here, and one over here. So all sorts of spots you could put additional guy lines if you really wanted to add them. I think they include 4 with the purchase. And then over here, I guess you could call this the head end of the tent. Some interesting geometry here for sure. You got another spot here you could pop a guy line, got one here as well. I would not put it on here. I believe this is just a loop for the door if you wanted to use that. And then up here, we have some ventilation. So little ventilation tab so you can let some of your warm, moist air exit the tent and hopefully prevent some condensation. All right, so to start the inside tests, we're gonna throw down a foam sleeping pad. I have the Nemo switchback right here, so we'll go ahead and try that out first. And before you ask down in the comments, which I'm sure somebody is still going to do, I'm 6 feet tall, roughly 220 pounds. Let's see how I fit inside. All right, so we're inside of the tent. I hope you can see down there. The switchback is down below, and my feet have got some decent room. Not like crazy room, but a pretty good amount of room. So I would say at least, I don't know, maybe 5 inches, 6 inches to the top. Try to get a little better. Right there it's hitting. And I have size 12 US feet. I don't know what those are for you, but also got my quilt in here. So we'll throw the quilt on, see what we got. So even with the quilt on, I would say that is ample foot room. If you were using a foam pad, I don't think most people are going to have an issue as far as space goes for their feet, or have to worry about their quilt hitting the rain fly out there. And to give you an idea, I have a Sea to Summit pillow underneath me, and you can see I still got a little bit of room, not too much, maybe a couple inches that I could keep going as well. We'll get an inflatable pad in here and we'll see how the footroom is with that as well. You can see back there too, little ventilation hole as well. And then there's another right down there in the back corner. Yeah, that's it. All right, inflatable pad. All right, so I'm seeing stars myself right now after blowing up. Good old trusty Thermarest NeoAir X-Lite. We're gonna toss this in here. I believe this is a 3-inch thick inflatable pad, and we'll see what we got for space with this. All right, so we are inside on the Thermarest NeoAir X-Lite So we got some decent room. Again, 6 foot tall, size 12 shoe in US men's. It's really close down there, if I'm being honest. Might have an inch or two of room above, but again, I'm not at the furthest end of this right here. So I could in fact scoot up, so let's try that. All right, so my head is maybe an inch or two away from the actual rainfly. So let's see. I would say it is a little bit better. Let's throw the sleeping bag up, or sleeping quilt. So you can see I have the quilt on top. My feet are up 100%, and it is not hitting the rainfly at all, which is pretty nice. I know for a fact from all of my experience with the Z-Pack Solplex that the quilt would be hitting the rainfly 100%. And that can lead to a couple issues if there's condensation, which is definitely a problem in shelters like this that are all one piece. There's a little bit of ventilation on this one, but not that much. Again, there's one in each corner, one above me. And then of course, if you can leave the door open, you know, that gives you a lot better ventilation. But yeah, looks like the footroom is adequate. So for me, at 6 feet tall, this does seem like a pretty decent option. Length is not an issue at all, and I can get my feet in there without hitting the rainfly. If you are taller than 6 feet, maybe like 6'2", I think that you'll still fit in here, no problem. But you might deal with some rubbing down the end. And then I threw in some things as well, just to kind of help you try to see how much room is in here. So this is a standard size NeoAir X-Lite, 72 inches by 20, I believe. So threw a trekking pole on the side there, a road video mic, because this is all I have out here with me. Standard Nalgene, the Nemo switchback over there. I have a phone under there somewhere as well. So just to try to give you an idea of the space that you would have inside this tent. You can see that the fabric is sewn the entire way down. There is no mesh ventilation at all on the back side here, which, if I'm honest, is probably my greatest concern, because shelters like this are inherently prone to condensation. And when there's no backside ventilation, it can make it even worse. So we'll have to test it out, see how that goes. And right there, if you're considering vestibule space at all, that is the camera backpack that I have out with me. That's about the size of what I would say is like a standard backpack. My Ultralight mountain gear pack is probably double the size of that easily, but I don't think there would be any issue with it fitting under the vestibule at all. So since this tent can also be set up with trekking poles, I'm gonna give that a shot right now and see how that works. The instructions say get it into the hub and then gently extend the pole and then lock it as the door tensions. So it doesn't give you an exact height to set your trekking pole to, but I think we can judge as we go along. All right, and there we have it, set up with the trekking pole. You can see I did slightly slant it, and my pole itself, I'm using the Cascade Mountain Tech 3K carbon fiber poles. I set the skinniest portion, so closest to the tip. I set that to the lowest setting. It's not even locked at all. And then just use the middle section and set that to just above 48 inches or just below 125 centimeters. The top of the trekking pole is actually for the bottom of the tent, and it connects to that little grommet loop through a nice piece of guy line. The trekking pole tip goes right in to the hub up there, and it works no problem. So my overall thoughts, initial setup, I'm pretty impressed. The tent's super roomy. Assuming the weights are correct, which you will have seen at some point, I'll try to put the weights back up here again. I think this is a pretty good deal for an ultralight tent like this. Paid $500 for my Z-Pack Solplex from the bargain bin. Usually they were $550, a duplex is like $600. If you get this on sale, you can get it for 200 bucks. And in all honesty, for a tent like this, I think it's a pretty decent price. The stakes they include are actually pretty good. The pole they include for the tent, if you're not a trekking pole person, seems pretty solid. So I guess my biggest concerns as of now are waterproofness and condensation, and only usage is going to show that. I think rain is going to be another big thing that we'll have to see how it handles in the rain. And condensation, having no ventilation in the back at all, the fabric's just sewn like to itself, is slightly worrisome. I'll try to make a little follow-up video to this as well, just of how it went the first like night or two I used it, just out in the backyard here. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to do one sunny night and one rainy night. If there's any other questions I can answer, I'll try to answer them in the follow-up video. If you have a question, make sure to leave it below and I'll try to get to it. This is a pretty new tent to the market, so not too many videos out there about it, not too much information about it. So with that said, I am an REI affiliate, as in if you click through to an REI link and purchase something, I will make money off of that. I did pay full price for this tent out of my own pocket. REI did not supply me with this tent for free at all. But with that said, if you think that affects my viewpoint at all, that's cool. Don't buy the tent. I don't really care either way. As I say with most things, take what you see here, go do more research, check other people's videos, see what they're saying about the tent, and make the best informed purchase decision you can for you. I'm not you. I cannot tell you how this gear will do for you. All I can tell you is what I think of it personally. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been grand. It's been fun. It's nice making a video again. So until next time, we'll catch you in the next one. Questions, leave them below. Take care.